This video is sponsored by Trend Micro. Welcome to yet another installment on this kind of ongoing series called JV Never Got Around to Reviewing It Because He Kept Using It. Working title. You see, it's a common issue for me that when I get a tool that works so well, I just put it to work. And while that might actually be a great way of experiencing a product, oftentimes content on that tool gets pushed back because of all the work it helps me achieve. Well, it's time for me to finally talk about one of the most compelling computing products of the year. One that you might have your eye on after some recent announcements, and definitely just in time for the holidays. Honestly, this notebook might be the closest we've come to my laptop of my dreams. This is Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? These are my thoughts on the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14. After this. A quick word from the sponsor of this video, Trend Micro, and their premium security suite. Now, being protected across the internet is more important than ever, and this is the armor that can keep you, your devices, and your data safe. Protection that includes data theft prevention, safeguards for your payment information, and a secure browser for accessing sensitive data are all built in. And this is all on top of the key feature of the premium security suite, which is Trend Micro's Maximum Security, their top-of-the-line antivirus protection product. Trend Micro's Maximum Security Suite works on both Mac and PC for an armor that works 24/7, but there are also mobile suites for iOS and Android that make the same level of protection portable. In fact, Maximum Security Suite works on up to 10 devices simultaneously so that you can keep all of your connected devices safe. Smartphones that are always on the go can especially benefit from a built-in VPN called WebGuard that can block websites and keep your information from prying eyes. And with all of the different accounts we have across the internet, I thought it was nice to see the app check on my privacy and security settings in my social networking accounts. All is backed by great and premium customer service whenever you need a hand from a professional help desk. Try Trend Micro Maximum Security Suite for yourself via the link in the description, and use the code Joshua10 to get 10% off your purchase. Get your devices, your data, and your internet the protection that they deserve. Thanks again to Trend Micro for sponsoring this video. If you were to tell me even a couple of years ago that there's a 14-inch laptop with all of the power that I need to effectively game and work, I would think you're crazy. If anything, I would expect the price of that Ultrabook to be astronomically high, but ASUS found a way of balancing every part of the Zephyrus G14 to create a laptop truly worthy of the term Ultrabook. It's simply one of the most portable packages I've ever used, even right down to the power brick. Normally, gaming laptops have huge bricks that take up way too much room in a backpack, but this one's actually pretty manageable. And nimble performance is part of the game too, thanks to this laptop's top story, the AMD Ryzen 4900HS. As one of the only 7nm computing processes available right now, it's proving that power efficiency can be achieved without sacrificing performance. And to me, the biggest benefit to this has been the battery life. I don't really expect laptops to have stellar longevity, but a solid 5 hours doing productivity tasks like research or typing up scripts is still impressive. And apparently, some updates that ASUS quietly added in made it even better, as some reports are showing. Now, if I can get a little meta here, some recent announcements in computing have made some waves, but AMD has been in the news since the beginning of the year because of this very laptop. As we move into what 2021 has in store for certain aspects like battery life and efficiency, I would argue that we're getting a pretty good look at it already in 2020 via this G14. So you're kind of seeing it in action here already, but one of the marquee, no pun intended, features of the G14 is right here on the cover, the anime matrix. This is the feature that pretty easily catches everyone's eye, and for good reason. While it might not ultimately be the biggest deal to the user who's not even looking at the cover while using the laptop, there is something to be said about having style and customization. Most laptops have a look that's always very familiar, and we have to resort to things like stickers and skins to really change things up. But instead, ASUS went, you know what, we'll put in a way of making each and every laptop potentially unique. Of course, you have to put in a little bit of work. Getting certain graphics catered to the otherwise white matrix dots takes a little bit of extra work. At least there are plenty of presets that you can just dial in with text and whatnot. Of all the things I would have wanted in a laptop, I didn't know something like this would be on the list. But a small yet powerful and very nimble laptop with overachieving customization? It just keeps getting better and better. But to achieve this laptop size, there were some concessions made. First off, we have to measure our expectations and remember that this is a gaming laptop through and through. So choices were made with that identity in mind. You could, as a gamer, argue the usefulness of something like a webcam. Yep, there's no webcam on here. Perhaps it's a decent enough ploy for privacy, but it also removes any Windows Hello biometrics. And on that note, the fingerprint reader is just okay. It fails half the time. The keyboard, quite good in typing but rather terrible with its backlighting, has the same sharp and angular lines as the cooling vents. Far be it for me to judge anyone for having a gaming laptop in a business meeting or in an office setting, but for some of you out there, that might be something you have to keep in mind. And that doesn't even include a couple of I/O choices. Obviously, there's no expecting Thunderbolt support on a AMD processor, but there is also no SD card slot, and the USB-A ports are a bit awkward for external mice, gaming or otherwise. And then there are the rest of the specs, which are decidedly gaming laptop. Let's start with the Nvidia Rtx 2060 Max-Q. This is the first laptop to rock it, and because of how the rest of this notebook has been constructed, I think it's a massive feat. I've thrown game after game at this laptop and have had no issues playing at high settings. Now, the ASUS Armory Crate gives access to system monitors and power modes that can turn the performance up to 11, which of course requires the laptop to be plugged in. On the note of performance, this laptop does get plenty hot, so it might not be ideal to have this on one's lap while gaming. Now, there are a bunch of vents here, and there's a reason why the bottom portion lifts up when you open up the display. None of this was really a problem for me because I tend to have my laptops connected to some sort of monitor most of the time, and thus it's lifted up or on some sort of dock. I opted for the 1440p resolution 60Hz display because of my creative work in apps like DaVinci Resolve. I'd rather be able to fit a little bit more like my timelines, even if that means sacrificing some high refresh rate gaming. Now, with all of that said, the display is not the best. It requires a little bit of adjustment, at least for my eyes. First, I turned down the gamma in the Windows settings, and then I used the Radeon integrated graphics to turn up the hardware acceleration. My particular context actually pushed the G14 to some limits. I'm a content creator first and then a gamer second after all, so the level of work that I need to achieve ended up being just beyond how this laptop is built. The RTX 2060 Max-Q has 6GB of VRAM, which is usually plenty, but then my 10-bit videos and high-resolution photos have caused Resolve to complain once in a while. And on the topic of RAM, this is clearly a one game at a time rig with 16GB as the standard configuration. You can get more if you take out this back panel, but you have to replace just one of those sticks, and it leads to some odd numbers like 40GB of RAM in total. So while the G14 is properly tuned to the task at hand, it falls just short of being the best tool for a few of the other endeavors you might have in mind. Obviously, I'm a big fan of what ASUS achieved in the G14. It's got the size of a laptop I've always wanted to have in my career, especially for travel, with a price point that actually doesn't give me too much of a heart attack. I think if you're a straight-up gamer that doesn't need too many bells and whistles, this configuration is made especially for you. But as I have been alluding to throughout this video, there are other things that I want my powerful computers to do, and the G14 just doesn't quite hit every mark. You see, 2020 taught me that high-powered graphics cards, multi-threading processors, and honestly, a willingness to make the big investments can really elevate my work and, more importantly, my efficiency. I used to get gaming laptops specifically because the same specs that make those laptops great could make my work better. Unfortunately, there are always trade-offs, and the G14 continues that tradition. I think we're on the cusp of something pretty freaking awesome though, and if we can continue to get laptops with specs like the Ryzen or bodies like the 14-inch here and configurations that can reach even beyond just the gaming, then pretty much every mobile user is in for quite a ride. The ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14 has been available throughout 2020, and it might be on your list of gaming and or computing rigs for the holidays. If so, check it out in the links that I've provided below. My 1440p model is a little bit harder to find, but the Full HD 120Hz screen edition can be had for around and under $1,500, which I actually think is a pretty damn good price for one of the most portable gaming PCs I've ever used. And so there you have it, my thoughts on the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14. Bit of a mouthful, but it's not too much of a handful because look how nimble this laptop is. With all the power underneath, especially for gaming, I think a lot of people out there would be very happy with this laptop. Let me know if you have the G14. A lot of you have been in my comments asking me to review this laptop. Sorry, I've had it for a while. It's been helping me get my work done. I finally got around to doing this video for all of you. Let me know your thoughts on this laptop, what your experience has been in the comment sections down below. At the very least, drop some likes on this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. With that said, I'm going to call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.